Welcome to the Activated Story Theater's 178th podcast.
This episode we bring you Lazy Hans and Gretchen, a story from Germany.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And together we are the Activated Actors.
We are coming to you from Pasadena, Maryland.
Not Pasadena, California, where they have the Rose Bowl. Not Pasadena, Texas, where they have the NASA Space Center.
But Maryland. We are, it's not too far from Annapolis and Washington, D.C. We are heading south. We are migrating away from the cold winter to the south. We are in Maryland right now. We've got some shows coming up here, and then we will be heading to South Carolina.
And we just finished up our Halloween haunting season.
Oh, yes, we did. We were scaring again in Abington, Massachusetts, at one of the best haunted houses in New England. We get to play there every fall. We get to have fun scaring people, so it's something we like to do in our free time. And we also made our way down through Massachusetts. We traveled through New Jersey, New York, and on to Pennsylvania, where we stopped by in Philadelphia, and we got to go to the brand new Wits. I think we've talked about Wits before. It is the company that our son works for now. It is an adventure place where you get to go on an adventure.
And he actually helped open this one in Philadelphia, just outside Philadelphia, actually. And
it's in Plymouth Meeting.
In Plymouth Meeting. He helped open it. That's part of what he does now. And we went through all three of the adventures there.
Yes, and we did really, really well this time. We usually go, we have fun doing it every time, but I think we got an all-time high score of 96 for just the two of us, which is really pretty good, for us anyway. We don't usually score too high on those games, but it's an adventure game. There are 3 themes at this new attraction in Plymouth Meeting. You have a theme of tomb, which is an Egyptian theme, and you're like Indiana Jones. You get to go on an adventure, and it's a very, an Egyptian theme. And then there is a theme of a castle, and a dragon makes an appearance in that one. And in these adventures, you solve puzzles. It's a lot of teamwork. You have to figure out what you have to do, and then you get to go on to the next scenario, and there's about 3 or 4 scenarios in every little adventure.
And this one also had espionage, which was one of the ones they had in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
It is one of the ones they have in Foxborough.
Which is the place that Zephyr started out at. But this one is very different. This espionage is quite different from the one in Foxborough.
There's still lasers to dodge, and you have to solve James Bond type adventure, but it is a lot of fun, and we didn't do too well on that one. Our best score came on, which adventure was it?
I believe it was Tomb.
It was Tomb. We did the best on Tomb. So there's many of these adventure places throughout the country, mostly on the East Coast. If you're in
Syracuse, New York, or West Nyack, New York,
Foxborough, Massachusetts, and then the new one in Plymouth Meeting. Also, there's one that the company designed. It is now in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and that's just the Tomb experience. So if you're near one of those places, we highly recommend Wits. So that's been our adventure so far this month, and we are going to tell you guys a story, because this is a really good story. I think you're going to enjoy it. It is Lazy Hans and Gretchen, a story from Germany. Long ago in Germany, there lived a boy named Hans. People called him Lazy Hans. Maybe that's because he was very lazy. In fact, he was so lazy.
How lazy was he?
He was so lazy that he was afraid to go out into the sun because he might have to drag his shadow around. But he had to go out in the sun sometimes because he lived on a farm, and his job was to take a herd of goats out to the pasture.
Why can't the goats take me out to pasture instead? Surely there must be one of them big enough to carry me.
One day, as he was taking his goats out, he met a girl who was also driving a herd of goats.
Oh, hello there.
Likewise, I'm sure.
My name is Hans.
I'm Gretchen.
You must be from the farm down the road.
That's right. And you must be from the farm up the road.
Yes, indeedy.
So, you have to take goats to pasture too, huh?
I'm afraid so. Some of the goats are my father's and some belong to me.
Same here. Some of these goats are my father's and some are mine. He always said his kids would get his kids.
I don't get it. But I really hate having to drive the goats to pasture.
Me too. It really gets my goat.
I guess I'm just too lazy.
Same with me.
Hey, I have an idea. Maybe we should, get married. Then we could combine our goat herds and take turns driving them to pasture.
Makes sense, I guess. Surely two can live as lazily as one.
So how about it? You want to get married?
Well, I guess. If it's not too much trouble, I mean.
Well, it shouldn't be that difficult. We don't even have to throw our own rice.
Well, okay. If I can just drop my bouquet instead of throwing it.
So they got married and settled into their own house with their own herd of goats and prepared to live lazily ever after. And just as they planned, they took turns driving the goats to pasture. But before long...
Boy, I thought it was going to be much easier taking turns with the goats. But now I have twice as many goats to drive.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. How long have we been doing this anyway?
Well, let's see. It's been almost 2 weeks now.
Why do we even have to keep these silly goats anyway?
To sell their milk and their hair, and how else are we going to pay the bills?
Well, maybe we should trade the goats for something that would be lower maintenance.
Such as?
How about bees?
Bees?
Yes. We could trade our goats for some beehives full of bees and put them in the backyard. Bees don't have to be taken to pasture. All the walking we'd have to do would be to go out back and collect the honey to sell.
Sounds like a winner to me, as long as the bees don't sting. So they traded their goats for some beehives full of bees, which they placed in their backyard.
What magnificent beehives.
They certainly are. In fact, they're giving me an idea for how to style my hair. And after that, they could lounge around all day playing tiddlywinks and waiting for the bees to make honey. They hardly ever had to go outside for anything.
Sounds like it might be raining outside. Why don't you stick your head out and check?
It's your turn to stick your head out.
I'm pretty sure I did it last time.
No, it was definitely me. It's your turn this time.
Oh. Why don't we just call in the dog and see if it's wet?
And after some time, they were able to collect a large amount of honey from the beehives.
Wow! Have you ever seen such a large pot of honey in your life?
Never. I think there's enough that we can have some for ourselves before we sell the rest.
Sounds good to me. Besides, that's going to be awfully heavy to carry to market. It wouldn't hurt to lighten the load a little bit.
And that's what they did. They sat around nibbling the honey while they played tiddlywinks. Until one day...
You know, you've eaten an awful lot of our honey.
Well, so have you.
I guess so. And it's disappearing awfully fast.
I think it's disappearing faster than the bees made it in the first place.
Yes, it did take them a long time. And this may be all we have until spring. The bees don't seem to be around anymore. Maybe they're hiding from the cold. Maybe they flew south for the winter.
That's birds that do that? Someone needs to teach you about the birds and the bees.
Anyway, the bees aren't making any more honey for the time being. Maybe we better sell this while we still can.
Or better yet, trade it for something.
Like what?
Well, how about a flock of geese?
Oh, of course. and maybe the geese will lay golden eggs.
Well, at least they'll lay some kind of eggs, and we can sell them.
What a brilliant idea. The geese will never run out of eggs.
Or feathers. We can sell those, too.
We'll be rich, rich.
We can live on caviar and truffles and chocolate and chocolate truffles and maybe even chocolate caviar. What are you going to do with your share of the fortune?
I think I'm going to buy a gold-plated croquet set.
But doesn't it take a lot of effort to play croquet?
Oh, I'm not going to play it myself. I'll hire someone else to play so I can just watch.
Ah, of course.
And what are you going to do with your share of the fortune?
I'll buy lots of jewelry. Strings of pearls and gold bracelets and silver rings and diamonds as big as goose eggs. I'll buy so much jewelry that I'll have to hire someone to wear it for me.
Maybe while they're playing croquet.
Sure, why not?
Those geese are going to make us rich beyond our wildest dreams.
Absolutely.
There's just one little thing, though, about keeping geese.
What's that?
Foxes. They like to eat geese. And there are quite a few foxes hanging out in the woods. They just might sneak into the yard and attack our geese.
I'd like to see them try. If they do, I'll grab this poker, just like this, and hi! Oops.
You broke our pot of honey.
I can see that.
Oh, there goes our flock of geese.
And my jewelry.
And my croquet set.
They're just oozing all over the floor.
I guess we shouldn't have counted our geese before they hatched. Now what are we going to do?
Maybe one of us should clean it up before we start raising flies instead of geese.
Don't look at me. You're the one who broke it.
But it's your fault for letting the foxes in.
I'll tell you what. Let's play tiddlywinks for it.
Okay, if it's not too much trouble.
And that's the story of lazy Hans and Gretchen from Germany.
And that's our story for you guys. I think it was kind of fun.
That's a variation of the old "Don't count your chickens before they hatch."
Don't count your geese before they hatch.
Yes, the chickens. That story goes all the way to ancient Greece, to
Does it?
Aesop's fables. Yes.
Oh, what the story of the chickens?
The story of the chickens. Yes.
Alrighty, well, we are gearing up for the holiday season. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and Christmas will be right behind it, and then we'll be on to 2018 pretty soon, before long at all. So if you have any story requests, let us know. We are listening. You can call our 800 number. It is toll-free, 800-429-6576. If you have a story request, a folktale story, that is the type of stories that we do. So if it's something that somebody else wrote, we're not able to honor that request. But if it is a folktale, and preferably one we haven't done before, we'd be happy to honor that request.
Absolutely. And until next time, have a great Thanksgiving.
And be activated. We'll catch you next time.
Activated Story Theater is committed to bringing fun, educational shows to schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use physical comedy, American Sign Language, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring multicultural folktales to life. For booking information, check out our website, activatedstorytheater.com, where you can also find out when the activated actors will be performing near you. Read a story or order one of our audio CDs. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or listen on Stitcher. We look forward to your comments and folktale suggestions. Stay activated. Until next time.